I'm America's Digital Pro, Kim Komando. And in tech news this week, it looks like it's not safe to eat or shop. Millions of customers had their data stolen in 2 separate massive breaches. Plus, Mom, I'm bored. Yes, believe it or not, even with 24/7 constant stimulation, Generation Z is bored out of their mind. But why is that? And spring is here. Time to clean out those closets and your digital folders. I've got a ton of great tips on how to declutter your digital devices. All that and more coming up. Now, let's get the latest from the Komando.com news desk.
It's been a big week for hackers. They hit Panera Bread, Sears, and Delta. These are the ones we know of. The Panera hack exposed more than 35 million customers. The company's website apparently leaked everything: names, addresses, the final 4 digits of credit cards, even shopping ordering habits. Next is Delta Airlines and Sears. Hundreds of thousands at risk there. The information leaked dealt with business between September 26 and October 12th. This breach affects those shopping at Sears or booking flights online for Delta. Credit card numbers, names, and addresses all exposed on the websites of the 2 companies. The companies say that the internal databases were not breached, for what that's worth. And stores owned by Hudson Bay were hacked. 5 million credit card holders there affected. Hudson Bay owns Lord & Taylor, Saks Fifth Avenue, and Saks off 5th. Right now, it's not believed that the criminals were able to get access to any social security numbers, but they probably got everything else. Most of this information will wind up for sale on the dark web, and to learn more about this very dangerous place, listen to a special 2-part Kim Komando On Demand podcast. And make sure you subscribe to the podcast or listen to it on Komando.com. We also learned this week that it wasn't 40 million Facebook subscribers affected. 87 million had their information shared in the Cambridge Analytica fiasco. In a few days, Mark Zuckerberg goes to Congress to testify. He'll sit before both a Senate and House committee to detail just how his company protects or failed to protect your data. And there's a whole new set of questions for Zuckerberg. Apparently, Facebook hired several doctors to go to major U.S. hospitals and healthcare providers who asked those hospitals to share data about their patients, such as the illnesses the patients have had, treatments they've had, prescription information. All of this, they say, would be anonymous, and it would be only for a proposed research project. Facebook was intending, though, to match up the anonymous data it collected using a common computer science technique called hashing. Hashing matches random data with individuals who exist in both sets. If a person goes to the hospital on the 25th with appendicitis, and a hospital reports that an anonymous person checked in on the 25th with appendicitis, it's not difficult for the computer technique of hashing to put the names and the events together. Of course, for its part, Facebook says the data would only have been used for research conducted by the medical community, and of course, it would never have been sold. Coming up, what provoked Twitter to suspend more than 1 million accounts? But first, Kim's here with why Mark Zuckerberg isn't the only villain at Facebook.
Like a badly conceived script, it all begins with a leaked memo and a Facebook vice president named, get this, Boz Bosworth. In 2016, Bosworth wrote a memo saying that if bad guys use Facebook to harm or even kill people, it doesn't matter as long as Facebook continues to grow. Bullies, gang members, or even terrorists organizing through Facebook, it's all good, because in the name of connecting people, it helped Facebook grow. This has been Facebook's official policy all along, a 418-word document framed around Mark Zuckerberg's mission to connect the world through Facebook. Here, 2 years later, Mark Zuckerberg now says he disagrees with the memo. I bet he does, especially now. If you're like most adults, you assume that young people never experience boredom. I mean, how could they with YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook? Which shows just how disconnected you may be. We'll call them Generation Z, the ones born between 1998 and 2010. The 8 to 20-year-olds who have never lived without high-speed internet, smartphones, and 24/7 connectivity. This is the world we have given them, and they're bored out of their minds. An article published this week in BuzzFeed breaks it down nicely. Even though you may think they're completely immersed as they Instagram, Snapchat, and take selfies nonstop, for them, it all eventually looks the same. All apps become mundane. Nothing is new or exciting in this constant blur of overstimulation. It drains and depresses, exactly the opposite of technology's promise. The best advice you can give them will make you sound like your parents. Turn it off, read a book, go outside and play. I'm Kim Komando.
Remember when you would log into Facebook to like a post or check out what your friends and family were doing for the day? Did you ever think your personal data would be sold? Well, this week on the Komando On Demand podcast, Kim talks to two of America's leading attorneys that specialize in privacy and are arguing cases for victims of Facebook and Cambridge Analytica. Why your information is the currency of the 21st century, why it's so valuable, and why now, more than ever, people have lost their trust in Facebook. That's this week on the Komando On Demand podcast, on the Komando app, or on your favorite podcast player by searching KOMANDO. More news is next.
And now, more stories making headlines this past week at news.komando.com. And Twitter is defending itself after this week's shooting at the YouTube headquarters. The vice president of Twitter wrote in a blog that Twitter did, quote, everything it could to provide authentic and credible information, unquote. Yet, even before the police had arrived at YouTube's headquarters, social media, especially Twitter, was flooded with just what you'd expect. Fake news and bogus stories. On Twitter, various accounts claimed to know a lot more about the incident than the police, and a lot more about the media that was on hand. For example, a common hoax in shootings is that the shooter was named Sam Hyde. There is no real Sam Hyde, the shooter, by the way. Yet, someone at Twitter posted that the shooter was Sam Hyde and even posted a photo of somebody claiming to be Sam Hyde carrying an assault weapon. Another bogus claim is that a well-known YouTuber, Matt Jarbo, was behind the shooting. And on Reddit, there are all kinds of subreddits known for conspiracy theories, false ones, of course. These things seem to spread to other networks. And they linked the shooting as a so-called false flag to be an anti-gun or positioning that the suspect was wearing a hijab and resembled a prominent women's leader. On Gab, the social network that is a haven for extremist and conspiracy threads, there's all kinds of speculation that the shooting was somehow tied into the Parkland shooting suspect, Nicholas Cruz. Of course, the whole thing's absurd. Others said that the gun activist David Hogue was somehow involved. All of it's false, all of it conspiracy theories, all of it on social media, most of it on Twitter, again. An Apple Watch could provide evidence during a murder trial in Australia, and it could be evidence that could put somebody away for a long time. A woman is on trial accused of killing her mother-in-law. She pled not guilty, and she claims her mother-in-law was followed home by several anonymous men who ambushed her and murdered her. But prosecutors think differently, and they hope to prove the case with an Apple Watch that was worn by the dead woman. The prosecutors say that in pulling the biometric data from the Apple Watch, they can show exactly what time the victim was murdered. In fact, they can even see death approaching. And all of that data seems to indicate that the defendant is not telling the truth. The question now for the judge, can the biometric data from an Apple Watch be admitted into court as evidence? Now then, when's the best time to buy an airline ticket? The travel site cheapair.com has analyzed airfare from more than 900 million flights, and they've come to this conclusion. There's no crystal clear, easy answer because flights are always changing from the day they go on sale until the plane leaves the terminal gate, literally to that minute. But the study says there's a prime booking window, and it lasts for about 100 days. In other words, around 4 months to 3 weeks before the departure. The cheapest flights typically happen on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, with Sundays being the most expensive. So if you want the lowest fares, think of that 100 days. Again, the window opens about 4 months before the flight and begins to close about 3 weeks before departure. If you're thinking about deleting Facebook altogether, before you do, take a look at the new research study, which claims that taking a 5-day break from Facebook can reduce your stress levels if you're not addicted to Facebook. In other words, a 5-day break can show you whether you're just a heavy Facebook user or you're really addicted. If you're not addicted, taking a 5-day break will lower your stress level, and it will lower the amount of a stress hormone called cortisol that people produce. Pulling away for 5 days can make you jittery, insecure, feeling that something's going on and you don't know what, and causing an overwhelming need and desire to check into Facebook, a sure sign of addiction. Try doing without it for 5 days and see how you turn out.
Find the latest gadgets at shop.komando.com.
It's been a brutal winter for most of the country, but now spring is right around the corner, and this means opening up your windows, putting your cold weather clothes away, and doing a little spring cleaning. Well, this time of year is also great for doing a little spring digital cleaning too. As our homes get smarter, our digital devices need decluttering. Don't worry, I'm here to help you out with some amazing tools to get you started. First up, your hard drive may need as much attention as your broom closet and stove. And cleaning your devices can help prevent running out of storage or becoming vulnerable to malware. For this, use the free program CCleaner to clean up your browser. Cookies are like the gunk in your roof gutters. You can't see them, but they're there. CCleaner helps you sort out the cookies and archives you don't really need. And when you download the program, you can focus on a specific browser that you'd like to clean up. That makes it super easy. All right, how many digital photos are on your phone or computer? Some of them are probably duplicates, right? Taking up much needed space. Use the Duplicate Photo Fixer program to help. It's going to filter through your photo collection, searching for doubles, and even match similar photos. It's pretty sweet. Lastly, make some money off your spring cleaning by selling your stuff online. So where can you offer up your old TV to the highest bidder? Well, OfferUp lets you search through items and make an offer. The app uses something called the True Use system. This confirms the identity of buyers and sellers, so it makes it conceptually a lot safer than Craigslist. There's also ThredUp. This is an online thrift store and has some incredible finds. They use qualified fashion experts to determine whether items fit their standards. So if you have a smart leather jacket or a pair of expensive dress shoes, you might consider putting them up for sale there. To get all the links that you need, look no further than my homepage, Komando.com. That's Komando.com. In the Read section, there's columns. That's where you can find this and all of my past USA Today columns. I'm America's Digital Pro, Kim Komando. Hey, thanks for listening. And by the way, so many people have asked me, this is not the Kim Komando Show radio show podcast. To find my show nearest you, head over to Komando.com/radio. And if you want to watch or listen to my show anytime on your schedule, go behind the scenes, watch the show being recorded, use our message boards, be part of the community, head over to GetKim.com. Once again, that's GetKim.com, and I'll see you next time.